What is up and welcome back, and today we're going to be looking at different sandals and slides. We're going to be comparing them, and hopefully at the end of this video you're going to know some good things and some bad things, so when you're out there shopping for yourself it could be a lot easier to choose the right sandal or slide for you. So to begin, we do have two types of sandals and one slide. This sandal is going to be the Nike On Deck Flip Flop. This one right here is going to be the Nike Kepa. And then lastly, we're going to have a slide. It's going to be the Nike Air Max Zero. In all of these sandals or slides, they are very good in their own ways, but you have to know which is for what. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So first of all, if you do have some pain at the bottom of your feet of any kind, it could be maybe a problem with your arches. I do have sometimes problem with my arches. I do have plantar fasciitis from time to time. Or if you have any heel problems or problems in the front of your foot, a sandal like this is not going to be the most appropriate. As you can tell, it is very flat all throughout. There's no type of curves or contour whatsoever. And also the material is going to be very thin. Okay, so this type of sandal is not going to be too supportive if you have any problems or any pain in your feet. Now the sandal that I like is this one right here. It's very good because, as you can tell, there is a lot more material to begin with, especially in the back area of the heel. And then there's also curves or contour for the footbed. Hopefully you can see it in the camera, but in the heel area it does sink in, and you also have some curve right here in the front. So all this is going to be very supportive for your feet. Okay, and lastly we have the slide. Now this slide, you are going to get a lot more cushioning just off the bat. You can see that. It's real thick in the back. It also has some contour to it and some curves. You can see it with the light. And that's going to be very supportive, especially with the air unit in the back, the Nike Air. You can see it's a large size air bubble on the back. And this right here, actually for your heel, if you have any heel problems, like this right here is really supportive. When I put this slide on, it kind of feels like your heel sinks in and then pops back up when you're walking, especially if you're landing on your heels. Very supportive. So as you can tell, all these three sandals, they serve a purpose. So if you're a young buck, you can wear a sandal like this no problem. Or you're somebody who doesn't have any pain in your feet, you walk around with something like this, you'll be okay. But definitely if you're much older or you have any injuries, maybe a sandal or a slide that has some sort of curve and that support with the material is the way to go. Also, an important detail that might matter to you is the weight of the sandal or slide. Personally, I don't like sandals that are too light. And for example, this one right here, it is very lightweight. And it almost feels that you're not wearing anything, but you are. And I kind of don't like that feel, I'm being honest, because if I wear a sandal like that, I almost feel like I'm tripping over myself. So for me, this would be a no-go. But this one right here in the center, I thought it was very good balance. It's not too light, but it's also not too heavy. And for me, this worked out very well. Now for a slide, for example, a model like this, you can just tell that it's very thick. So it is going to be bulky in weight and also in size. So is that something you don't like? You don't want to be walking around with something that feels somewhat heavy or taking up a lot of room? Maybe you can find a slide that's going to be not that high off the ground, that doesn't have maybe like an air bubble, or if it does, maybe it's a lot more smaller. Okay, so you have to look for those details. And I don't mind wearing a slide like this before we get on the basketball court. So this right here will work out pretty good, but I know personally I couldn't wear a slide all day, but I could handle a sandal like this all day. So it kind of depends on what you like, but it's something to take into consideration. Moving on, also the materials are very important, because this sandal right here you can take out to the water and it'll dry up really fast. Where you have a towel, you just wipe it clean and you're good to go. Now for this one right here, it will dry, but it also has some material underneath right here. It has some material underneath, and as you can tell, you have right here this thick textile or polyester. So this is gonna take some time to dry. So definitely, if you wear this at home and you go to the pool and then you go back home, you're not gonna be able to wear this one because it is still going to be wet. This one you can dry off. And this slide, I love this slide. It has a lot of padding underneath, so it's going to be very comfortable when you put your feet inside. But because of all this padding, maybe the camera can catch it, but it's going to be kind of that material that shoes have for the collar, for the ankle area. Okay, so if this gets wet, it's definitely going to take a long time to dry. So it doesn't mean that you can't use it for the beach or for the pool, but this one you can be careless, and with this one you just have to be paying attention. Another big factor is going to be the price. A sandal like this, very basic, very minimal, is going to be around $14 to $18 USD. Something like this, which has more material, is more comfortable. This right here is going to be a lot more softer than this one, because this one is more like plastic or rubber. Okay, so the price for something like this is going to be almost double as this, so it's going to be around 35 USD. Now a slide, there are less expensive slides out there, but this one kind of has it all. You have the support in the back we mentioned, some nice graphics, thick material all throughout, even the front is pretty thick. And then on top you have some synthetic leathers, you can see. Nice design, and even within the footbed you see some design there as well. So something like this goes for around 55 USD, but you can also find some slides that are going to be less expensive because they have less details, or maybe more expensive when they have more details on top of the slide. So it kind of depends what you're looking to spend, but I think one of the most important things is going to be if you can wear it without any pain. That's going to be one of the major things. And also, if we look at the bottom of the sandals, they all have their own traction, as you can tell. And personally, I think that the traction doesn't really matter too much unless if you're going to be heading to an area that's very slippery, like for example the pool. This does a very good job. Like when I looked at this traction and I rubbed my hand onto it, it's very grippy. So this is going to be very secure for the pool or anywhere that there's a lot of water. Something like this could be more for like indoors. It has good herringbone, but I feel the bite is not as good as in this one, because this one right here is rough. Okay, right here is more smooth, so this would do real good indoors, but you could also take it out to the pool, but just be a little bit more careful. You know, when you're out there you gotta be careful anyway. Now this has real good grooves and it's thick, but the hand does slide. Maybe you can find one that's gonna be a little bit more solid with the grip. But this right here, very good for indoors again. Indoors, or you're going to the beach, just walking around. So just know why you're getting your slide or your sandal. I don't want to forget the sizing. The sizing is going to be very important. For these two slides, everybody can go true to size, even wide footers, because you're not going to have a problem because your feet are not going to be enclosed like in the shoe. Also, the length is going to be very good, very solid. So everybody, true to size on these two sandals. Now, for this one right here, regular and narrow footed people can also go true to size, okay? Now, if you are a wide footer, on this one right here, the Nike Air Max Zero slide, make sure you go a full size up. I was getting some pain along this area, so I had to just make that minor adjustment and go a full size up, and this slide felt very good once I did that. So regular and narrow footed, true to size on everything, and then Wide footers can go true to size on these and just a full size up on the slide. This one's the Nike Air Max Zero. Now before I log off, I did want to show you each sandal with its pair so you can see what that looks like. I'm not going to model these because some of you guys might have a foot fetish or a toe fetish, but here we go. The one that's very minimal, the Nike On Deck flip flop. Move this one to the side. Get that back view. This right here is just a sticker, just so you can press down on it. I took it off on this one, so the one doesn't have that graphics, just so you know. Wanted to show you that. Then we have these bad boys. So there you go. So hopefully you got something out of this video, and if you did, make sure you like and subscribe because that does go a long way. It does really motivate me to keep making more of these videos for you guys. And like always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.